Okay, this is my video on comparing and ordering fractions. To compare and ordering fractions, you need to have a really good knowledge of equivalence fractions. Okay, so you need to know that fractions can be worth the same but look different. So let's have a look at this question. Which fraction is larger, 4/5 or 7/10? Now, we've got fifths and we've got tenths, and they look completely different. So we need to find a common denominator to make them look the same. So one way of finding a common denominator is multiplying them. So we could find a common denominator as 50. So we can make both these out of 50. So we could say, well, how have I got from 5 to 50? I've times it by 10. So I need to do the same to my numerator. So 4 times 10 is 40. How have I got from 10 to 50? I've multiplied it by 5. So I need to do the same to my numerator. So 7 times 5 is 35. So now they look much easier to order. I've got 40 50ths and 35 50ths. Which one is the biggest? I always think, which one, if it was a cake, which one would I rather have? I'd rather have 40 pieces out of 50 than 35. So I could put an inequality sign in here, and that reads now 40 50ths is greater than 35 50ths. Okay. Now, if you look at how we did it here, we actually used 10 as our common denominator, because 4 is actually multiplied by 2, 8/10. And I'm comparing that with 7/10. I didn't have to do anything to my 7/10. That's why finding the lowest common denominator is a better way of doing this. So we're always looking for the lowest common denominator or the lowest common multiple. That's why we've done lots of work on multiples and factors. 8/10 is bigger than 7/10. Okay, moving on. So two new fractions. You'll notice that these are both improper fractions, 7/4 and 11/6. Again, we need to find something that they both have in common. So we could multiply that together to get 24. But those bright sparks amongst you might have spotted that actually 4 goes into 12 and 6 goes into 12. 4 goes into 12 three times. So we need to multiply 7 by 3 to get 21. 6 goes into 12 2 times. So we need to times the numerator by 2 to get 22. Now these fractions are very similar, 21/12 and 22/12, but 22/12 is greater than 21/12. And if we go back to our original question, 7/4 is less than 11/6. Okay, how can we use this when we've got a list of numbers? So look at the denominators. We've got 4, 2, 3, and 6. You might spot that they are all factors of 12. So I could put them all out of 12. I need to do some working out. Okay, 3/4. I have times by 3 to get to 12ths. So I need to times this by 3 is 9/12. 3/2 I have times by 6. So I need to times my numerator by 6. Whatever I do to my bottom, I must do to my top. 3/6 are 18. How have I got from 3 to 12? I times it by 4. What I do to my bottom, I must do to my top, and vice versa. So that's going to be 16/12, and I have doubled that, so I need to double that to get 10/12. Now, if I put these in ascending order, that means getting bigger, from smallest to biggest, smallest to largest. You might think of that as you ascend up the stairs. So let's have a look at these. 9/12, 18/12, 16/12, and 10/12. 9/12 is my smallest, so I'm going to put the correct order being 3/4. And I've done that one, so I can move on. And then it's going to be 5/6, because that's 10/12. And then I've got my two improper fractions, so I've got 4/3, and finally 3/2. So thank you for listening to my video on comparing and ordering fractions.